What's up, man?
What? That's what I do now. What I do back in like the 90s. Like, what?
Nice. And speaking of the back in the day, our topic is spring break then versus now. It's a little bit different now that we are dads. We want to hear your take. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know your thoughts on this topic. Are you looking forward to spring break now with your family, or do you reminisce about the good old days where you went to some beach, or in my case, went a place that's colder? And we'll get to it in a minute. So we'll get to that. But John, before we start, we got to say the Life of Dad lunch break show here on Facebook is brought to you by the Life of Dad book, right?
Buy it right now.
That's all he's going to say. Sweet. Buy it right now. Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, wherever books are sold. All right, sir. Talk about right off the bat, we got a good response. Alex says, send with the grandparents. Great idea. Brilliant. What about you, man? Talk a little bit about the difference.
Man, it's hard to, we're with Life of Dad, and there's so much about being a dad and blah, 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 blah. But man, spring break used to be awesome. It's just we're about to go skiing with the kids, and I'm sure it'll be fine, and we'll have a good time, and I'm looking forward to it. But is it as fun as skiing without kids? Probably not, right? Like they're little still. Like I know so people listening. Like I feel like kids under, I don't know, you have kids that are older, under 10 and under are still like work, and maybe 10 and above are not in terms of like work. Like, are they going to have a tantrum? Are they going to like this? Like they're people at 10 and above. You do an activity together as opposed to monitoring the activity. I'm just giving, could be 9, could be 11, depending on the kid or whatever it is. But like mine are still pretty little, 6 and 7. And like, we're looking forward to going skiing, but then the whole weekend, my wife and I were kind of making comments like, is this going to be a nightmare? Like they didn't want to try on their ski clothes, and like, they didn't know how cold it was going to be. And, I started thinking about it. Spring break used to be like, oh, Jamaica. Awesome. It's going to be awesome. There's no doubt the whole week, locked and loaded, from the minute you get on the plane till you fly home is going to be an amazing week. And now there's always question marks.
Yeah, I agree, man. I definitely agree. Like, I think with your kids' age, it's definitely, it holds true to what you said. For now, as my kids get older, it's like, all right, there is that fun aspect. There's certain things that we all can do as a family that everybody's going to like. It's not like, all right, one parent goes with one kid on the kiddie ride and all that.
Right.
There are different, like, I guess, you want to take them to like a, amusement park, or, like Disney or whatever the case may be. But sometimes are they going to remember that? Are they not? And then it's like, all right, we're staying in lines. Let's do the fast pass, everything. Yeah. So like, there are certain things where you're like, and then sometimes just kind of live in the moment. We got a few people saying
it's live, Martin. Somebody just, how do we know it's live? It's live. We just said your name when you typed that, so it's live. I think it's hard to figure out. Like,
we'll do it live.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's hard to figure out when it comes to the vacations, like, because I enjoy our the beach. We take a beach vacation every year, and that's always awesome, even when the kids are little. Like, there's no real activities beyond being at the beach or being at the pool, right? Yeah. But doing an activity where you're like, oh, hey, we're going to skiing, or you're going to go hiking, or you're going to go, sightseeing, or to an amusement park, like you said, that's when the problem becomes like, there's so many ways it can be sabotaged, right? Like, your kid doesn't like the rides. I've had friends who've gone to Disney and the kid freaked out and had no interest in any rides at all. And then what do? You're there. Whereas when it was you and your wife or you and your buddies, the chances of it of it going poorly were so low that you never even thought. But now you're at a point where you're like, there's like a 50-50 shot this is a disaster.
Yeah. I mean, Lisa, you are right. Kids grow up fast. Spend every moment you can with them. It's great. And it's not like we're just talking about the differences, the huge, wide differences between spring break.
Anticipation. And anticipation is part of it too. Like, you were locked and loaded if you were, when you were younger, if you were in college and you got the chance to go to like a Jamaica or wherever you went on spring break, or I had friends who went skiing or whatever. Or even if you go, once you were out of school and you were in your 20s and you went on like a dude's trip for something or whatever it was, it's just now the anticipation is like you're anticipating all the things that might go wrong versus like all the things that might be amazing. And it's because you can't anticipate what a 6-year-old is going to feel like in, like you said, in a line in an amusement park, There you go, Joseph. Yeah.
We drive to Florida, then we're pissing each other for a week.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that we've interviewed on the Life of Dad show. I remember when I had a chance to interview Grant Hill. One of the things, like, now you're talking about perfect vacation that is with the kids or without the kids.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm joking, but there is that point where you and your spouse have to kind of reconnect and just have it just you. But just going back to what you said about like the kids not liking rides, something popped up where when you're like back in college, you have a spring break and someone's acting a fool, like your kids might be acting a fool. You can be like, dude, shut the hell up, get out, go back to the hotel. We're all going to have fun. You can't really say that to your kid.
No, and like, right. That's exactly right. When you look at all the reasons a trip may not work out, every group of friends has like a knucklehead or someone who, like, all right, they're probably going to get us in trouble, but like the trouble's minimal. And there's usually, thank you, Bill, go Bruins. The trouble's minimal. And it's usually a problem where, like, you guys can all go do something else. And then also that person is a self-sufficient adult. So if they have to be alone, there's no problem, right? Like in this scenario, there's so many things that could come up where you're like, well, if it's skiing, right? Kid doesn't like skiing. I mean, there's only so much you can do on a ski resort, right? Or like if you're at a beach and the kids, when a kid gets cranky and, they get like a sunburn or something because they didn't listen to you or whatever. Those things can always happen. So like, it's not about spending time or not spending time with their kids. Everybody, the understood part of this is everybody loves to spend time with their kids, obviously. But when it comes to a vacation or spring break, like what Joseph said is true. Like you could spend the week just like, oh my God, just get back into our routine where the kids go to bed at 8 and I can just relax and watch a game. This is not worth taking us out of our routine for.
Yeah. So, yeah, and there's going to be some aches and pains, whichever, like from back in the day, you drank a little too much, that's painful. But then also, too, if you're driving, like our boy Joseph said over here, we're driving to Florida and then we're pissing at each other for a week. Like, you're going to have those growing pains where like, are we almost there yet? Are we there yet? Like, in your mind, your kids verbally might be asking, are we there yet? Or how long until we get there? But in your mind, like, okay, when can I just stop this car, like get into the hotel, chill for a little bit, and then go out and, see the sights. So there is that thing. And like you said, the anticipation, man, it's like you're in college, you're like a week away. You're like, I can't wait. Because all you're probably doing is bringing a backpack, right? And then on the other side with the kids, it's like, all right, I got to pack the pack and play. I got to pack the diaper bag. I got to make sure I got this done. Oh, wait a minute. What's the temperature going to be like? Oh, it went from 60 to 50. Now I got to bring that other hooded sweatshirt because you know that they're going to spill ice cream on the other one. So I got to make sure I bring 2 hooded sweatshirts for both kids. Snacks. What are they into right now? They don't like goldfish, they like pretzels, but is that going to mess up the car? So there's so many different things about preparing. It's like, I remember I said, like, I made the reference about going somewhere colder. I grew up, I went to a college at UNH, University of New Hampshire. So my friends and I, where we go? Montreal, why not? Somewhere colder for spring break. But it was really cool in Montreal, so we'd go up there a few times. So we definitely dug that. So like for me, it's so night and day. I did have fun, the Disney trips with my wife and my kids. Like the one we just did last year with my kids' ages, we went to Universal. We had a blast. Like there were not that many temper tantrums. There weren't that many things going on. We all had fun. They had their iPads watching movies while we were driving down. So it was pretty good. So we enjoyed it. And looking back, man, especially because we're all in Harry Potter, going to the Harry Potter, like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter was just ridiculous. So I'm telling you, and for other, dads who have kids around John's age, it gets better. It does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. It's the mentality that it's really not, it's not for you. The vacation becomes like, all it is like triage for like what could possibly go wrong and how do we fix it. And yeah, that's right. You're right, Joseph. Like trips, it's a trip. Like it's not a vacation, because it's a vacation, you're asking what I would want to do. And it's a trip, you're asking essentially, like, I think vacation is pure enjoyment for you and or you and your spouse. A trip is how do you mitigate disasters with the kids? Like, what can you do to keep them occupied so there are no temper tantrums and disasters? And can you do that for enough consecutive days till you get home? That's it.
There's always contingency plans with contingency plans with contingency plans. Like, all right, what are we going to do if it rains? All right, we're supposed to go to the water park, but then it was all right. It was hot, but we made plans for Thursday to go to the water park, and we made plans to go to that one restaurant on Friday. So we can't go to two places. So, but then you're just like, all right, do we just eat that one reservation and do something else? So it's
such a headache.
Yeah.
What Kingbird's saying is true. Kingbird's saying, like, with the kids, anything is PG-13. But what it made me think of was, like, when you're with your spouse or your friends and, like, a plan goes awry, you can always be like, well, let's just go to the bar. Like, that becomes a day. That becomes like, I don't know what's going to go on. It's raining outside. Why don't we just get some drinks? And that usually leads to an enjoyable afternoon somehow. And with kids, you're like, oh my God, like, we can't sit in the hotel watching our iPads. It's raining, or we can't go do the thing like you said that we wanted to do. So what the hell, like, what's the default? Just watch a movie in the room, which you feel stupid about because you can do at home or anywhere really at this point. So yeah, you end up in these sort of mental conundrums of just how do we make this not a mess and feel like it's enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh man, so spot on. I love it, John. Sean Kingbert says parents having a brew at birthdays, holiday gatherings, etc. was always normal. Yeah, I mean, so that is true. But again, like you said, like something happens or like a game gets rained out. What are you gonna do? All right, we're gonna go to the bar. That is so spot on. Like, we'll watch another game at the bar, especially like if you're in Vegas. Yeah. I went to Vegas a few times with my friends, and it's like, all right, let's just, the thing we want to do is kind of not rained out in Vegas, but like something didn't happen. There's a long line. All right, forget it. We'll go to the bar and bet on some sports and have a few drinks, right?
Sportsbook's always the answer. Yeah, when you're in Vegas, it's a little different because you have, especially as an adult, there's ample options for doing things.
Do you ever golf in Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. I lived in LA for 10 years, so like it was a great place because like we probably went to 15, 20 bachelor parties, and it was because like every friend who got married back east, that was like their one big trip, and it was a 3-hour drive. And then all our friends who ended up getting married who lived in LA, it was a 3-hour, 4-hour drive. And then there was all the trips of like, hey, it's NFC championship weekend, let's just go. Like up until like from age like 22, I'll say to like 26,
yeah,
at least like 3 or 4 trips a year were simply Thursday afternoon. Somebody sent out an email because really texting wasn't there yet of like, should we go to Vegas for the Kentucky Derby this weekend? And someone would be like, yeah. And then you're there.
Yeah.
Wonderful life.
Why not, right?
Yeah. There's no one to check with, no kids to worry about. And you could get 4 of you in a room, so you didn't even care, like back then, what happened. It was just like, we'll have 4 of us, we'll all grab our backpacks for 3 days, and hopefully we'll get lucky and win a suite, one of us, and then we'll be off.
Yeah, no doubt. That was the two. Like, what's going to be our comps, or what do we win, like a steak dinner or whatever the case? That man, I love it. Chris, this is pretty cool. Kind of talking about how we're all negative Nellies over here about talking about you can't, just go on a whim with your kids. Chris kind of proves us wrong. He says, went to the Mall of America, just my son and I, got lost in construction, played everything, totally by ear, didn't plan anything. And he still talks about that trip as the best time ever. I think that's great too, because not only as adults, we have like these ideas of what's going to happen. And we assume like, oh, we're going to Disney World, or we're going to go to Six Flags. It's going to be great. I'm going to ride this ride, and I'm going to get this toy, or whatever the case may be. If you kind of go into it with no plan, especially with kids, they have no idea what to expect. So their hopes won't be shattered or like lowered, because you're like, wait, what are we doing? Oh, we're going to this huge toy store at the Mall of America. Cool. Now we're going on this, merry-go-round. Awesome.
Yeah. And when you're with kids, like, everything, you can make everything, like, if you're going about it and all of a sudden in the middle of it, you're like, let's just get ice cream. And it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. Like, you blow their mind. Like, oh, yeah. What? We haven't had lunch yet. And you're like, yeah, it's his vacation. It's crazy.
We got Gerardo saying, life is short. Just enjoy the kids now because they grow fast. Believe it or not, I used to be a kid, and all of a sudden I'm 55 years old. So true.
Yeah, I'm excited about, like, I'm not excited. It's just the problem is all of the blocking and tackling of the trip are not like, if you or I are going on a trip, we're like, I'm just driving to the airport, I got a plane, my friends are there, I have a backpack, no big deal. But there's so many things with like the kids and the planes and the packing that you end up, the joy of just being, feeling that is a different thing. And I think the point of the discussion was like, there's no starker way to kind of view your stage of life, and it's not in positive or negative. It's just where you are. Then looking for spring break is like a perfect, like when you're young, and again, it's so hard to say when you're young and free and not sound like nowadays you're just stuck and tied down and it sucks. But you're not that different of a person. Like if someone offered you the spring break of 22 and you were able to do it right now, you would be like ecstatic, right? But you're also like, oh my God, this trip's coming up too. That should be fun also.
Yeah, no doubt. Kingbert says agendas just add stress.
I agree. Yeah.
And then Chris goes, got lost in IKEA too. Don't believe the signs. That is the Swedish maze. I call IKEA as the Swedish maze, man. Like you get lost in there, it's all of a sudden you're either going back where you started, you're trying to find a carriage, or you get like Swedish meatballs with you and the kids while the wife is shopping and finding some stuff that you can't pronounce, but you're gonna have to put together next weekend.
Yeah. So we got a lot of people are writing in about Luke Perry, since we're live late breaking news. Anybody watching? It looks like Luke Perry of 90210 fame has passed away.
Age 52, a stroke, man. That. Whew.
I didn't watch. I admit I am not trying to be cool about it. I never watched 90210. I was familiar with it. All my friends watched it. I never got into it. I did, however, really like Luke Perry in Jon from Cincinnati, which not that many people watched, but I loved Jon from Cincinnati. So that's my R.I.P. Luke Perry moment. I thought he was really good in that show.
Nice, man. Sean Kingbird says, when it's just my son and I, we always wing it. We're in wing it mode. He loves it. Just the fun of son and dad days. You had this awesome tweet, Jon_Finkel. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. You're like, so I've seen this dragon movie 3 times, and this dude still doesn't know how to train his dragon.
Yeah, that was that's where like my boy loves movies. My daughter has just no interest, which is amazing. She'll only watch them at home. She doesn't ever want to go to the theater to watch movies.
Okay.
And, that was actually kind of a winging it moment. We were like just talking about what to do, and it's been terrible weather here. It's been raining and 35 degrees for like a week straight. And so he had his game on Saturday. We kind of ran out of outdoor stuff to do. And then I was just like, let's go to lunch. And at lunch, I said, let's go see a movie. We picked the time. And so that was the movie of the day yesterday. It was okay. I remember the first one. I enjoyed it a lot. The second one I thought was pretty forgettable. And this one I think was the same way.
Gotcha. Kingbert says, what do you want? What do you kids want to do today? Chaos ensues. Yes, that's a good thing too. Don't have an agenda, but don't ask, because everybody will want to go which way, but the same way. Everyone's going to go in opposite directions. So that's a good point right there. Dad hack for sure, or parent hack for sure. Don't ask them what you want to do, because if you do that, you're just gonna get like the same old, like not doing anything. Like my wife and I,
they don't want to do anything.
Yeah, we're just like, all right, we're like yesterday. It was kind of a little like overcast and drizzly, but like, nope, we're going for a hike. So we go for a hike, and my oldest got my jug. I took a picture of like where the sidewalk ended and went right into the woods, and I'm like, hey, where the sidewalk ends, and she goes, it's pretty funny, Dad. I was like,
Shel Silverstein,
yeah. And I remember kind of reading some parts of that book in school. I'm like, nice.
That was like my favorite. That was one of my favorite books growing up. Nice. Yeah, the idea of being spontaneous is key, and I think that's where, Sean, you're right. I mean, listen, my best friend growing up lives in Minnesota, and they're in -10 all year long, and I think the deal is, you guys have put it in your head that you've chosen to live there, and so that's just a fact of life for you guys, how cold it is, that you can't do that stuff. For those of us who live in more temperate climates, most of the time there is the possibility to do awesome things outside, like bike rides and hikes and all that stuff. And when you can't, you kind of get bummed out.
Yeah. Yes. Who else we say? Raul saying like, don't ban me, because he was talking about the Luke Perry.
You're good, Raul.
Man, appreciate the heads up, man. This is a community. We're always talking about pop culture and stuff. So,
Yes. Very 70s freewheeling, kind of creepy looking dude for sure.
But the books were just an instant classic. All right. Speaking of books, as always, the Lunch Break Show is brought to you by the Life of Dad book. Pick it up. Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, Amazon, wherever you can pick up books. It comes out May 7th. Pre-order it. John and I appreciate it. We'll see you on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Again, rest in peace, Luke Perry. Sorry to hear about that. Definitely people in our generation remember him from 90210. And also, you said Cincinnati?
John from Cincinnati, the HBO show.
Yeah. All right. So, everybody, thanks again for checking out the Lunch Break. We'll see you guys all later. Peace.